we are live in the markets. We're live here on Nailing FX. It's October the 8th. You're with me, Andrew Hahn. You can reach me at andrew@traddictiv.com. And yeah, we're at the same time, 9 o'clock Eastern, US Eastern, but just on a different day. Kind of swapped out with Pedro there on Tuesday for Thursday. So if you're trying to find me on Tuesday, you probably would have found Pedro there. So so we kind of swapped around. Okay. So just before we get started, there are those disclaimers at the top of the screen there. Just read those through. Okay, and as you can see here, we've been going through some little video here on how you can join the memberships. So free membership. You want to find out more about what we do at Trade with UFOs, and also more about our technology, which we go through here, our apps. And if you did want to learn more about how to apply that technology to your trading, we do have trading sessions, right? From the 25th to the 30th of October. So again, if you wanted to learn more about how to use our apps, we have a 5-day class. It's 3 hours each, starting from 8 a.m. Eastern for 3 hours until 11 a.m. So it's not a onerous sort of time together, but we kind of sectioned it over the 5 days with also some practical experience. And one of the things that we do go through is this trading flowchart. So our methodology for how you step by step do your analysis, starting from using the auto climate and then working our way down to using auto UFOs, talk about trade management, stop losses, order entry, all this sort of stuff. So, so especially for, if you're new to trading Forex, this is a good place to start. And even if you have experience in trading, been trading for a little while, some of the things that we go through you may find useful to apply to your own trading flow, your trading methodology, and including also incorporating, the application of the trading apps into your own strategies as well. So that is something that we will do at the end of October. Just finished a class in September. I had a number of students attend, which they really enjoyed. And so, yeah, we invite you to come and join us at the end of October for that. Okay. So, yeah, so some of the things that, of course, we go through is the UFOs and how we use them. Okay. And that helps put into context, of course, the things that we do during these sessions here on the YouTube channel, and also if you are a subscriber to FX Street or visit the FX Street site, it's something that I also do sessions on there as well, where we also talk about the markets and also the technology that we have. Okay, so let's get moving. We'll just spend a little bit of time talking about what's been going on broadly in the markets, and then we'll look to see what sort of opportunities are going on out there. Of course, the big news over this week has been Trump's little tweet, which caused the dollar to spike up there, and it's kind of come back down again, and we'll see. We'll see what happens over the coming weeks as we move into the U.S. election. as Trump has recovered from COVID, and all of the debates, or some of the debates that are not happening, all these sorts of uh, unpredictable sort of news events that can spook the mark a little bit. How do we take those? Especially all the rhetoric that is being thrown out there. Is that something that as a somebody who's not a voting somebody who's going to participate in the voting of the president of the US. What is our interest, right? As people who are outside of the US, but obviously affected by the movements in the market. Whether it be to participate in the stock sort of market, or futures, or the options markets, or the crypto markets for that matter, digital asset markets, or whether it's just in currencies. What is the impact that all of these goings on is going to have on what we do, from a trading perspective, or an investing perspective. Should we have uh, more of an intraday type of style, where we're trading the markets more intraday, to avoid exposure to overnight news that we may not have the ability to control. Obviously we cannot control that, but we can control the orders, right, that we place in the markets. So is that something that we want to be more mindful of, or do we want to tighten our stops on our swing trades, position trades? How do we want to approach some of these things going into this period of the U.S. election? So the U.S. dollar obviously is one of those that is of interest to any forex trader. The dollar index, as a representative of the influences around the euro, and it's a basket. Obviously, the index is made up of was it 58 percent euro, and then a mix of the other currencies. And so this is an index which is highly looked at, and is always a good starting point, as forex traders to kind of take a look at. And then obviously, because of the inverse relationship it has with the other major pairs, the Aussie, New Zealand, clearly the euro, pound, and CAD and yen and Swissy, as the major currencies that are paired against the US. They're going to have some sort of inverse relationship there, right? In particular to the euro, and of course the other, currencies have their own idiosyncrasies. The Aussie and New Zealand being more commodity linked currencies. The Swissy and the yen are always kind of associated with safety. And of course, we can't forget gold, as represented by XAU USD, um, and then you have Canadian, which is often linked to also commodity markets, but more linked to oil, right? So there you have those majors, and of course you've got the other cross pairs that are in some ways derived from the majors, right? So so looking at the dollar, we've had this strong move down, and if you are you know uh, a trend line drawer, then you would have seen that there was a break in that downtrend, with this spike up early October, and then you know we've had this retracement down, and then a bounce higher, right? So are we now into a mode of a change in trend, or are we going to have some sort of sideways trend that's going on? So So it remains to be seen how that movement of the dollar index will emerge. But if if you kind of listen to the commentary out there, there is this bias towards a stronger dollar. As we go forward for various reasons. Some of them could be, being the reserve currency of the world. A flight to hold more dollar-based currency and versus the other major currencies in order to, but then you've got to park it somewhere, right? So where do you put it? If it's not in the stock market, then maybe they go into treasuries, right? Or it goes into dollar-based gold, right? So so what's going to happen there? We will see, you know. Um, but here on the daily, if we just let me just pull things back to the daily. This is where we tend to look at, depending on how you trade, what sort of style, you trade. We look at this from a market climate perspective. What is the bias? So at the moment, if I just zoom in, okay, just to explain to those who are new to the Trade with UFOs site and the apps that we have, this is the Auto Climate app. And so what we do here is it helps us answer that question: do we want to be buyers or sellers? And if we want to be buyers, then we would be looking at these sapphire blue dots, and in particular if these dots are solid. So there's a solid dot versus a small dot. And if it's a solid dot, then what that tells us is that we are in a confirmed up climate where we want to be buyers, right? We prefer to be buyers, of in this case the dollar index. If we are in this case we have ruby colored dots which are solid, then we want to be sellers of the dollar index. Okay. Now again, if we in this case where we have ruby red climate, right, which tells us we want to be sellers, but because the climate is not confirmed, then we really have uh, no no position to be. We would not want to enter any sort of positions to be long or short until we get a confirmed climate here. So as we can see, what's been why it's not been a confirmed down climate, right? Because it's red, right? Is because we've basically been going sideways the last week or so, right? And so this is telling us, hey, when it comes to selling the dollar, which is what we would be inclined to do here, given the color is red, we wouldn't do anything, so we just move on to some other opportunity, right? And so we may see this sort of consolidation continue, right, over the coming weeks until we get some sort of clearer direction, right? And that could be to the upside or to the downside, and that remains to be seen. Now, if you are more of an intraday trader, you could go down to these lower time frames to make this assessment of whether you want to be a buyer or a seller, and you'd make that same, follow that same analysis that if we have a solid red dot, then it's okay to look for shorts. If we have a solid blue dot, then it's okay to look for long opportunities. But if in any of these cases we do not have a solid dot, then we just stay out of the market, right? So unless you are a very much lower time frame intraday trader, And if you're looking at, the climate on, this hourly time frame, then this is where you would have a very short-term view of, to be in the market, to participate in the market. And in this case, it'd be fine to look for buying opportunities, right? Now, you wouldn't look for buying opportunities on this time frame. What we would do is go down to one of the lower time frames, okay? And that's where we can now ignore the climate, and that's where we would use our AutoUFOs to look for those opportunities for where we would initiate a an entry to go long, right? And so what the AutoUFOs app does is, it's a algorithm that calculates, right, the areas of opportunity for us, and so, and it does this consistently, and it does this across any market that you can chart, on any time frame. And so that's the great thing about auto UFOs is that, you let it do the heavy lifting, which is why we use technology. That's why we want to leverage technology to do all these calculations, because to do this manually across, say 30 odd pairs, right? It's going to take you a heck of a lot of time, and so that's why that's why today we use computers, right? We've got moved on from the abacus, we've moved on from calculators. We still use calculators for simple calculations, obviously. Or if you have financial calculators, you still use those for to understand how the formulas come together. But once you kind of know the theory, you understand how it all works, then you just use your computer, right? You don't do things manually anymore. So that's why we use technology in our trading decisions, because obviously uh, the ability to do your analysis efficiently um, uh, and with confidence, right? Consistency, it therefore enables you to spend, I guess, more time on other things which may be of a higher priority, and but at the same time having confidence that the analysis that you do, through your trade methodology and the tools that you use is robust, right? And that you are confident in their ability to deliver the analysis that you know determine is going to be profitable for you, right? And so that's really, I mean, that's really what we're on about at Trade with UFOs, is to provide technology, and also training on how to use that technology to be applied to your existing trade methodologies and strategies, to complement them in many ways, or if you're new to trading, to provide you with a starting point, from which you can, build up your own trading plan and methodologies and strategies and so forth, to be successful in this endeavor. Okay, so the dollar is kind of going sideways, and so really, unless you're an intraday trader, unless you've positioned in already to the long side on this retracement back to a prior level of support here, and as we can see here, the order UFOs has identified this area as also as an area where there's been interest for buyers to come in, right? And as you can see here, we're also been hitting up at an area where the sellers have been interested in selling. And the app has also identified an area up here closer to 94.50, 94.45, say, where there's also interest in selling. And so this provides you with in many regards, a, a map, right, for which has identified areas where you can buy at and also where you can sell at. And so, so through the the app, you're able to say define this area below here where you can place your stops, and an area above here where you could place a target, right? um, and kind of manage that trade accordingly. It also helps you set expectations that, okay, you're going to have to get through this prior area of resistance, right, before you're able to achieve your final target up the top here, right? And so this is how the app can be very useful to help you plan your trades and also help you manage your expectations, right? And again, applying those techniques such as, hey, look, there's a prior high, so there's a low. If you just want to, let me just, there's going to be a high. Sorry, there's a low, right? I'll put a low here. Okay, and this would be a high, right? It's going to be a high. Okay, and so if we're going to move any higher, right, then clearly what's going to have to happen is, since we've got this low put in here, right, this is a higher low. Shrink that up. Okay, what we need to see happen, okay, if I have, where's my little zigzag tool? Zigzag tool here. So we need to see price go up down here, go up here, and then if we're going to have that uptrend form, right, then you need to make a higher high, right? And you may retest, prior resistance becomes support before moving up to your final target up here, right? So that could be a plan, for and how you set your expectations of how you would like to see price unfold. Of course, it will, move in the way that it wants to move, right? But this, at least you can, plan out where you expect price to go, right? And some of the reasons why, right? And so clearly, with the AutoUFOs, it was basically saying, look, it needs to clear this prior high, in order to get up to the target, right? And in the meantime, it could retest, the prior high, right? This area of resistance now turns support, and then put in that higher low, put in that higher high, and on its way up to this final target here, right? So very useful in complementing, some of your existing, ways of planning your trades, right? And similar for, any other market that you're looking at. So inverse would be, the euro, right? So if you believe that, hey, this could be, so last time we talked about how, you can actually use the apps to identify, along with the, say, Fibonacci's, right, for, if you use them as part of your trading, right? And where could, price move, right? And also to, as part of your planning, right? And so is this now a, forming some sort of head and shoulders, right? Is this the right shoulder forming on its way down, right? And so again, you can turn on the UFOs to kind of help you set your expectations of where price could move towards, right? And if you have an expectation of price moving lower, then this would be your high, your low, your lower high, and then we need to see a lower high, and then this lower low form in order to get some sort of downtrend forming, right? And because price is coming down into this area of interest for buyers, of the euro, we'd expect probably some sort of little bump here, right? Before it continues either lower, or maybe it's going to reverse at this point, right? So again, based on your own analysis and strategies, which the AutoUFOs order climate could help complement. You may find that this helps to make more refined decisions which are influenced by a to help influence your price expectations, right? Along with maybe some other fundamental analysis that you may do. So this is how we can apply the technology to our trading decisions, right? And so this is some of the commentary out there is for a lower euro in inverse to a stronger dollar. If we look at what's been going on with the the Aussie, we can see here, we had a break, right, of an uptrend, very strong move lower, and it moved into an area where there was buying interest, right, around the just above this the round number 70000, and since then we've moved back up to another area of selling interest. And so do we have now a move to the downside here? That's that we can draw a trend line towards, right? And if price did get up through to this area of selling and even break through it, there's another area of selling interest a lot higher up, right? Way up here. But first, it will need to get through this area of selling below. Okay. All right. And if price did want to come down lower, right, and kind of trade sideways for a while, I mean, that is also a possibility, right? And so price could hit up here, and then ding dong around like this even, right? And then eventually may want to move higher, right? We don't know. Okay. But the possibilities, right, based on your own analysis and techniques, can help you plan, right, these opportunities, right? So Aussie at the moment looks like it is holding around this area here, so just under 1770, right? So there's a little bit of resistance here at the lower time frames, right? So this area here, 1770. Okay, so if we're going to see any movement higher, we need to break this area here, but could very well from this point also just move lower, right? And then later on head up, right? So there's a lot of different options, and so the question always is going to be, do you have a plan in place? Are you managing your risk? Are you setting your expectations to capture, intraday moves, or, is this the right location to initiate a swing trade, right, or a position trade? These are the questions that you kind of need to ask yourselves, right? Okay, so Aussie, yeah, kind of pausing today, yesterday, today. We'll see if we get, we could still have another day of nothing happening until next week. I think we'll kind of see something a little weaker on the New Zealand side, right, where price came into an area of selling, right? So we had this area here where we had selling, price couldn't get above this level here, right? So had problems around 66.55, moving higher, right? And so now we are kind of in no man's land. I'm really would be looking for price to come down lower to this point here, right? But if there are opportunities to really go short on the lower time frames, then that could be something that you could be interested in looking at. Right, to the downside here, but we do have a strong, it was a strong push down, a strong push back up, and so again, do we have more of a sideways market going forward in these commodity currencies? Let's have a look at the pound. Had a bit of strength, early in the week, kind of sold off, kind of edged its way back up, but it's struggling. Pound is struggling to reach beyond the 130 mark. So this is a bit of a psychological level, 130. So we do have an area of resistance here, but we do have this area here. I'll just bring that down to 30. So it's more of a psychological number here. But we again have an area of interest for where the sellers like to come in, right? And so it's kind of moving sideways quite a bit, right? So if we kind of bracket it between 130 and looks like 128. Right. So until it really pound definitely moves, beyond these two extremes, we're really not gonna see any continuation of any sort of trends. This move higher has been very, very choppy, right? Brexit obviously has kind of come into the equation there, and so again, there's a lot of I guess geopolitical uncertainty that or political uncertainty, economic uncertainty that is influencing even the pound, right? So again, did see some uneven trading, really ever since mid-September. Downward move, some very choppy trading. So pound's been very difficult. It's been a little bit difficult to trade versus the dollar. And then if we look at the dollar CAD, again influenced by oil here. Let me just turn these UFOs off for a little bit. We have seen with the increase in oil prices, strengthening of the Canadian dollar. So that's a good sign for the Canadians who wish to purchase things outside of Canada. It's always a good thing, but it's not so good for exports because it's costing foreigners more to buy your oil, to buy maybe some of your agricultural products. But we are seeing, um, movement now into this sort of area where we've been before, right? So we can kind of look at this range here, where we have seen support come into the Canadian dollar. If we look at where the auto UFOs kind of you know plant things, we do have some areas of buying interest lower down at 31.85, and so if we start to hear news of stronger Canadian dollar, this could be a good target, right? For if you want to continue to short the dollar CAD, then there could be some opportunities for a move down to this area here, right? So current price, we are at 32.46, and this is 31.86, and so that number of pips there, let's see. So we just go from here to here. That's about 62 pip move, right? I mean, you can get down there within a day, right? So or the next couple of days, you could easily move 60 pips, 65, 70 pips, So so there's still room. This what that means. There's still room to the downside. But yeah, it's going to have to break this area of prior support or resistance, now turn to support, and of course we have some area of selling interest being formed here, and so that's going to prevent the dollar CAD from moving higher, right? And of course the trend is overall down, as the trend line indicates, as well as if we get at least the 4-hour perspective of the climate, right? Then we clearly have this move down. Okay, so I think even on higher, the daily, it's not confirmed. So, and that's due to a lot of choppiness, right, on these daily timeframes, which leads us, to want to do more intraday, or maybe intra-week trading. So not holding positions for a long period of time, over weeks and months, which would be more conducive to position or swing trading. But kind of taking those shorter term, looking for those shorter term opportunities to trade the dollar CAD. That's really what it's pushing you towards, right? Is to look for more shorter term opportunities rather than longer term opportunities. All right. Next is the dollar yen, and what we're seeing here is quite a bit of weakness. Let me just turn off the UFOs for a bit here. Yeah, we're just seeing some weakness, in dollar yen. We, what's going on there is that the Japanese, finding more interest in the US markets. Are they looking to put, money into bonds or into the equities in order to get better yield, right? Because we all know that they're not their own interest rates. yen-based interest rates are basically non-existent, and so for them, they could put their money anywhere and they're going to earn more. And so is dollar-based assets where they're wanting to put their money is gold, an area that they want to park their money into. Well, gold's kind of come off more recently due to less inflationary influences or expectations, right? And so gold has actually sort of been less attractive as a place to put your money into. But yeah, what's going on, right? Why is the dollar yen going lower? I mean, so this is where your fundamental analysis kind of comes into play, to help you understand a little bit better about some of those macro influences. But at the end of the day, you still need to make a buy or sell decision, or if there's just no explanation that you can come up with, then you just got to stay away from yen pairs, because you just can't understand why the price action is what it is. So you got to give yourselves reasons, to get involved in the market, and if for you part of your overall plan, or the things that you take into account are those fundamentals, then either you fact you have some sort of explanation for yourself, or you don't. But otherwise, if you're a pure technical trader, or if you have a bias towards technicals, then hey, clearly price is up on dollar yen, and so you just trade it up. Look for buying opportunities, and and just go for it, right? So if part of those reasons is, hey, look, here we have some support, right? That was prior resistance coming in, right? Is this going to be part of how you make your trading decision, right? Say let's go for 1057, right? You want to go long at this point. And again, if that was, part of your strategy for making a long decision, this is where also AutoUFOs can come in, help you identify a good area, right, for to support, right, to support your area of support resistance line, right? But it kind of, because it's a calculator, right? I mean, you could move this line wherever you wanted to, right? And I just happen to like to round my numbers to uh, you know to zeros or fives, but what you can rely on is that, hey, look, the app is going to calculate the the you know the the numbers, right, the same every time, taking whatever data it takes in, and processing it, right. And so you know um, very good complementary tool. Very good complementary tool. Okay, so we're hitting up an area where there's been interest in selling, and so we're kind of just basing around here, chewing away at those unfilled orders until we get some sort of definitive move to the upside. Until then, it is very much possible that price could move down, find that level of support, and then head back higher. Um, is one scenario. Another scenario could be, hey, look, we could just go straight up, right? Just go straight up, bounce down, and then head back up. I mean, that's also a very valid scenario. But it also could be, hey, look, price could just head away back down here too, right? I mean, that's also a valid scenario. But again, are you prepared? Are you managing your risk, and what parameters are you using to define all of that, right? Okay, so the last major pair that we'll go through today, and let me just turn off the UFOs. Let me just take away one of these scenarios here. Kind of like the idea of this price coming down to price support before heading up, and dollar Swiss, right? So we had price come down here, also prior, support, resistance, kind of coming back around these areas here, right? And now kind of retesting prior highs, right? So a little bit of resistance there. So what's going on with dollar Swiss, and trend line had a bit of a trend line break. So it's kind of like the the dollar index, right? So the dollar strong. If we have dollar strong, then we will see moves to the upside here. But first, it has to put in it's got a low here, got a high here. It's not been a very strong definitive high yet. It needs to kind of break through this area here in order to really change that trend. So again, watching the dollar and what it does is going to be important for us to see if there's going to be some continued strength into dollar buying, if we're going to see a change here, right? Okay, so what are the UFOs telling us? Well, there's some interest. If you wanted to find an interest for reason for buying, then we kind of missed out on that retest there. Could we see, maybe another retest, maybe some sideways move before moving higher? We'll see, right? But there was some buying interest here. This whole area is a area of selling, and so it's a pretty wide area. We probably need to just go back to a lower time frame to get a little bit more focus on where some of those orders are that remain unfilled. And it's also identifying another area here where you could, if price retrace back to this pricing area, for some shorter term opportunities, look to just trade these areas here. So you get some good risk and reward, 2-to-1s, 3-to-1 type of opportunity here, just intraday, if it all kind of happens. All right. Okay, so just to go back to the opportunities that we have for training, just go to tradewithufos.com/Andrew, join for the free membership. And then once you do that, you'll also be able to go in and see what are some of the courses that we have available, the pricing for that. We are actually, what we've been doing more recently is giving those who attend our Survival to Mastery course, we do give you access to the apps, the 2 apps, for the duration of the course, and also we're giving an extended period of access to the apps, for a longer duration than what we used to, because we found that people really need to spend more time putting into practice the things that they learned during the 5 days with us, or the 5 3-hour sessions with us, and needed a little bit more time than the originally we only gave a couple of weeks after the course for people to really get into things. But we found that people want to a little bit longer because they, again, attend these, kind of listen to me, listen to us on our, sessions such as these, or the other sessions that we have on our YouTube channel, and really want to have an opportunity to use those apps over a longer period of time. And so that's what we've been doing, but you have to attend the class in order to enjoy that benefit. Okay, so that's coming up in October, and again, if you do have any questions, you can or queries, you can send them to me at andrew@traddictiv.com. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this was a informative session. It's kind of starting off with a little bit of advertising about some of the things that we're doing. Since I'm on a new day, some of you may be new coming in to watch Nailing FX, and but I'll be here pretty much every every Thursday now at 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Eastern. And so come join us again. If you're watching the recordings, then just again, just remember Thursdays 9 a.m. US Eastern from now on. And the schedule for when I'm on the YouTube channel is on also on the website, and also when I'm in the FX Street sessions is also on the website. Okay. All right. Well, hey, market is open, and so I'm sure some of you are keen to find out what's going on, and trade safe, and we'll catch you next time. Okay. See you.